Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for September 12th, 2021. 2021. We had a pretty light week of Transformers news, but I still have a lot to talk about. I left some news on the table from last week because it was so heavy, and there's some more new things going on this week. There's also stuff going on, a lot of stuff going on with the Masters of the Universe, and there's a little bit of stuff going on with Star Wars, but might I call it, it's a whole lot of nada. We're still going to talk about it. Coming up. Alright, starting out with a few good things I'm seeing at Show Z. And first of all, they're getting in another batch of the FT07 Stomp of their Sludge from Fans Toys. This thing is $229, so $70 cheaper than I'm seeing at other places. I didn't check all 40 other places, but that's a pretty good price for what I hear. They also have their Spindrift 2.0 on sale for $75 right now if you're into getting a sea spray, a Fans Toys sea spray. If you're not happy with all the other options that are out there, you can get this guy. And the X-Transbots Abaddon, or Abaddon, however you want to say it, is up for pre-order right now, $190. So that's under the $200 mark. It's going to be a relatively impressive figure, in my opinion. So we got a couple of things to talk about in the Masterpiece realm, starting out with X-Transbots, of course. And with X-Transbots, we are seeing price. I wasn't 100% sure if the 130 price point was going to be everywhere, and I think it is everywhere. It's not an inflated price, because that's kind of $130 for a non-transforming figure is a bit high. I might just stick with my $40 Blue Lobster one, but I really thought we'd see cheaper options around, and it's not really for a non-transforming. They're making transforming figures for $100, so I'm a bit confused why this guy's so expensive. We're also seeing a pretty high price point on this Zoosaurus, or the Deathsaurus. So this thing's going to be $300. I was expecting $200 price point. It is 15 inches tall. It is huge. It's massive. I'm sure shipping costs are in there and all that stuff, but I don't know if I'm in it for $300 because of the character. Not that it's a bad figure or bad quality or whatever. We don't know yet, but $300 is pretty steep. Okay, we got pictures of a Mega Tank, and this is a Monocrat, I believe. And this thing is pretty cool looking, and it's a ominous looking Megatron. The thing about this guy is they didn't want to show the face for whatever reason. Although they've shown it before, they're not showing the face on this or any of these pictures. Still looks pretty cool overall. Here is a front and back design, and you can see he's got LED lights in the cannon, and he's got the alt mode there. We take a quicker, better look at the alt mode real fast here. And there it is. So it does transform, and it does all that. It's got quite a paint job, a lot of weathering. I think this thing's going to be pretty expensive. I'm not sure when it's coming out, though. So 8Z Replacement has made a replacement chest here, and I think that it's pronounced Hafiz Zul. Anyway, I'm going to try to link this page to you where you can get it, but I'm not sure that it's an affordable option if you live in the States. It's going to be like $45 shipped, I think, for the chest replacement. But it does look really good. It fixes the problems that we had with the Takara one, which I just don't understand how come Takara couldn't fix that themselves. Send a replacement for us, do something, but you got to leave it to the creator community to fix this. And here it goes in the alt mode, and you can see that it looks good in alt mode, but I think the chest itself's got a little bit more curves to it, so it's not going to fit quite as flush as the original one, but still looks really good in both modes. I'll try to find the link so you could get this if you really, really want it. So Big Firebird Mocha, or EX01 Plus Mocha, is up for pre-order at places. It's $125. I think it was $63 for the Big Firebird RC, or Nicey. Now this is double the price. Now I'm not sure what's going on with it and why it's double the price. Maybe they did a loss. They took a loss on the first one, and they saw it was popular. Now they can charge the normal price. But I like my Nicey. I think this is pretty good. Not sure if I'm in on it yet, but it does look great. It's getting expensive. So getting into the PPL 02 Combat Aircraft Model Kit. This is kind of like their PPL 01, and there's not much information about this yet, but we can probably assume the same similar stuff to the first one. First of all, it's going to come pre-painted, as you can see with this picture here. You won't have to cut or clip or trim anything. It should just all snap together, no glue required and all that. So that's one thing. It's probably about 5 inches like the Prime, and it looks really good. In fact, it looks to be one of the best ones on the market. At 5 inches tall, it's kind of hovers between Chug and Legends. Too short for Chug, a little too tall for Legends, but it's third party, it's different. It's a little higher price point at 30 bucks. So it's a pretty interesting option out there. Not sure if you're going to be developing another shelf to fill these up, but this is, in my opinion, what Red should have been. Hasbro's fail of Red should have been this. This looks so much better than what they gave us with the Starscream in the red line. But here you go with all the different things you can do with it. Pretty cool. I kind of like these. Not quite sure if I'm in on these just yet. Where do they fit? Sliding into some Legends stuff this week, and we've got some pictures of Magic Squares. This MSB series Jazz, and I'm not sure what kind of the dirty front grill there, but it's going to have a ton of articulation. It looks really good. It's going to be adequately sized. There's going to be a lot of good. I look forward to this. I think this is going to be a great looking figure down the road. It's got a lot of pictures showing off articulation and kind of what all you can do. And I believe all this articulation is sort of equal to having the transformation. Like the way it transforms is the way the legs kind of fold up, and that kind of works like that, and that works. But the alt mode does look pretty clean. It looks really good. There's no doubt that Magic Square has great designs. I love it. I look forward to it. But will they put any sort of finish on it, or will we get the third version with a good paint job? I kind of don't care. I think the first one on the gate will be great. So McFan's Toys is coming out with their MF55 Rubbish Blur. Now, this thing's interesting for a lot of reasons. First of all, it looks really good, and it doesn't appear to be a KO oversize of anything. So I really like this, and I'm getting a little bit jealous that they don't make Masterpiece. But anyway, it does come with a Target Master. It comes with two different guns. They're not the exact same guns, and it looks outstanding. Here's the alt mode. It's very clean. It looks really good. Just, I love what's going on here, and I think these are actual prototypes, not even renders. Prototypes, and it's really fun when they come out with actual prototypes. You can really see what it's actually going to look like and not just a render. Heard something funny this past week about X-Transbots puts out a bunch of well-priced renders. That's probably the funniest meme of the week. But this thing here looks great. And I'm late to the Legends game. So I've been in the Legends game for a bit, but I really am late to the Legends game, and I don't know, but I think this is the first Target Master in Legends. Like the first Target Master figure made. If I'm wrong, I would actually like to know in the comments, is there another Target Master for Legends that was made? I'd love to go check it out. And McFan's Toys, well, this is Mechanic Toys, but it's all under the same umbrella. The MS-29 Falcon, and it's a 2.0 more or less of Springer, because they've already made a Springer, and I thought that was okay. I didn't think it was great, and I'm not sure if this one's going to be great or not, but they're redoing it anyway, and it's pretty cool. It's almost like they're riding on the wave that's going on right now with, we've got Fans Toys reissuing theirs, and we've got the Robot Hero remaking the Big Spring, and then we've got eventually X-Transbots will come out, so they're riding that wave. It's almost like they want to be involved in the Masterpiece world, but they're really only doing Legends. But it looks pretty good for what it is so far. Here's the chopper mode, and the Apache helicopter looks really good in this mode. I kind of think that they definitely gave the robot mode the most advantage. This is a bit thick in the back. It should have been thinner. And in the front, it should have kind of thinned out the further out it goes. I'm not going to nitpick it too hard. It is Legends, and a Legends gets a pass to a point on some of these, but I still think it looks pretty good. And overall, you know, I'm not upset about it at all. I have the other one, and so replacing it probably does upset me a little bit on some level. Here we go with this auto mode, the car mode, and it looks pretty good too. One of the things about this car mode that I found out that is actually screen accurate is the front is much bigger than the rear. It's not symmetrical like that, so this is pretty close to accurate. Next in the Legends world, we actually have New Age pictures of their version of Ultra Magnus. They call this the H-27W Conquest and the H-28 Octavian. So you need both to make this happen, I guess. So it's quite interesting how it works. So you've got to buy an Optimus Prime, and I'm guessing they're either going to come together as a set, or you got to buy them separate, so I don't know about that just yet. But here's their Optimus Prime. Now, looking at this, do you like this design better than the Magic Square design? So I'll let you decide if you like those better. But here this is, it's more or less their Optimus Prime in white, I believe. I haven't seen their Prime 100%. But then you add in the trailer. So you add the trailer onto that. Now this looks like it's an old school G1-esque trailer that transforms, and not what Magic Square did with the parts forming. So there's two different companies doing things differently in two different ways, shapes, and forms to get to a similar end result. What you end up with is this. So whether or not you like the Prime design or the trailer or any of that, do you like this? And so that's what matters in the end. And I think it looks pretty good. I think they did actually a really good job with this, and I might be upset. This might actually be better than the Magic Square. Although I like the Magic Square, this is a bit sleeker. And I really view almost every Ultra Magnus on the market as just too chunky and too thick, and New Age makes theirs a little thinner. And they've always been thinner and slimmer, so I might like this aesthetic better. What do you think? So we got pictures of this Loot Crate DX box that was announced back in July. And this thing here is exactly what we expected from the original pictures. These are in-hand pictures, and it looks the same. This is definitely a bit of a wonky design. It is really stylized, and I don't know what they're going for, but it's different. And I guarantee you don't have an Optimus Prime that looks exactly like this already. So in case you haven't been keeping up with the chess set that's going on, right now there's a Kickstarter going for this chess set, and it's kind of interesting, but it's $700 and something. And the way it goes is you get unlocks. If you were to be at the highest tier, then it would unlock and you'd get this if you get to the $100,000 mark in their Kickstarter and all of that. But you're going to get a Rekar figure if they hit that goal, kind of a stretch goal kind of thing. And if they do hit that goal, if they hit that stretch goal, the Rekar piece will come with it, which will be kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. And from what I'm hearing from other people is that this chess set would be more or less a display piece that you wouldn't actually play chess on. You would just display the chess set. So, I don't know. Is that a thing people do? So, getting into this HasLab project with Victory Saber, and two things I want to say about it this week. A quick update to it. There are 7,536 backers as of this recording, leaving less than 3,500 to go to be funded. Of course, I told you it's guaranteed to be funded. It will get funded no matter what, but will you unlock all the unlocked tiers? Will he get his gun? Anyway, this picture here is my second thing. It shows the height or the size next to the punch counter punch, and this thing's under 10 inches tall. So it's like 9.5 inches tall, almost 10 inches tall. If you were to take the punch counter punch, extrapolate the height, and get out of that, I would think this thing is right around the 9.5 to 10 inches tall, which puts it at Commander class height. Now, I would like to still see it next to Commander class Jetfire, and the argument, of course, is lots of engineering from making multiple figures do multiple configurations is why it has the $180 price point. But when you throw the add-ons in that are probably coming up, it might make it definitely worth the $180. But I don't know what they are yet. So we've got a bit of mainline news, and we found packaging for the Shadow Panther or the Waspinator. And the thing about this is, first off, Waspinator is a figure that is very popular, and they did it in the 35th anniversary, or 30th anniversary, and that was a pretty good figure. So I'm wondering if this will be better than that one. I'm not 100% sure yet, but looking at this, the Shadow Panther is pretty much a repaint, and we expect repaints and all that stuff. But it looks so different. It's pretty cool. So we got our next Transformers collaborative project, I guess you could say. And this is through Universal Monsters. And it is Dracula, the same name that Fans Toys gave their version of Mind Wipe. So it's kind of interesting that you're doing it like that. But it's sort of a repaint. And it's interesting in a way. Target Fall Geek Out. You go to Target to pre-order this if you're in on this figure. But it's kind of interesting for a couple of reasons. But let's get into looking at some other pictures. Here it is in the bot mode, but it also has a soft goods cape, which is quite interesting also that it has a soft goods cape, and it doubles for whether or not, I guess if you want it to be a cape on the bot, I guess it'll work for that, and it'll probably also work, well, of course it works in the bat mode, the alt mode. You don't see soft goods in Transformers very often, so that's really interesting that they did that, and this Mind Wipe getting reused and repainted is pretty cool. But this opens up the doors to other monsters that could get made in more crossovers. I think these crossovers these days are better than the Star Wars crossovers from back in the day. Okay, so we've seen this Puffer repaint of Huffer in the past. Now we've got the Road Ranger, not Road Rage, Road Ranger. So I guess the Huffer mold, they're proud of it enough to repaint it a few times. So there we go. Still, it looks kind of interesting. Looks kind of cool. I'd probably be in on it. But anyway, this is going to be eHobby exclusive for the Road Ranger. And I think they both look okay. They both look good. And they look better than what we've gotten from Hasbro in the past. I keep saying that. And I'm kind of excited about the Mainline. We're also seeing the Transformers Generation Selects War for Cybertron leader Galvatron. Now this is Hong Kong. Now I'm sure this is not priced in US dollars. That would be super duper scalper mode right there, wouldn't it? But anyhow, this is a toy version more or less, and it looks good. A nice homage. I like it. And repainting this Galvatron, what a lot of people that I'm hearing are, wow, we're getting all these repaints of this Galvatron. I haven't even seen the Galvatron yet. And that's true. I haven't seen the regular Galvatron yet. So I guess I missed the boat. Somehow this Jurassic Park and the Rex and the Autobot JP93 are shipping. Is that shipping? It's showing up for people. Anyhow, we got some pictures of it showing up, in-hand pictures. And it looks pretty cool. I thought it was shipping November 1st or something like that. So if you pre-ordered it or you're gonna order it, you might want to check on that. It's like $105. But anyway, it's a pretty interesting reuse of the mold. I think it's going to sell way better than the Target Red exclusive version because it appeals to multiple different groups of collectors. This is a really good picture here in comparison to the main version of the mold for Megatron, and you kind of see what you get when it transforms. Of course, most people will keep it in the Dinobot mode or the Dinosaur mode. And a quick size comparison of the alt mode. And so this thing actually is going to be pretty small, actually. Because there is this particular vehicle out on the market for Jurassic Park collectors right now. And it is like 3 times the size of this. So this is going to be a pretty small figure character versus what they have out for the actual version of this car for the Jurassic Park collectors. Now, I'll try to get a link for this if you're interested. So we got some stuff starting to show up around. Now this is Singapore, and if you're going to be doing your, well, I can't get that on a road trip. But looking at this, I'm really excited about a couple things coming from Red. I think they might be doing some things in the future that are better than what they've done. But I do kind of like what they did with this Megatron and the reformatting version of Megatron. And so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we get a Galvatron, and hopefully we get them looking a little bit more screen accurate than what they've been doing in the past, and hopefully we get some scaling going on that's a little bit better. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Red's okay. Could have been extremely great, but it looks good. So kind of an older story, but I want to talk about it real quick, is that Transformers Season 2 is up on YouTube right now. And why is that a big deal? Well, they're putting it up in 4K, and it's free to watch. I guess you got to sit through some commercials and all that. And that's outstanding for the brand. But it tells me a couple other things. They don't plan on abandoning G1 anytime soon if they're doing this right now, right here, right now. That tells us the plans for the future. Hasbro likes to have media behind everything they do. Now they have media on YouTube pushing what they're going to be making for the foreseeable future. And a lot of people have been talking about how the RID turned 20. It's 20 years since Robots in Disguise came out, and it's bittersweet for me. I want to say that I was excited that we're finally getting some cars again. You know, getting away from the Beast Wars, because I wasn't a fan at the time of the Beast Wars merchandise, and I wanted the merchandise from this show. Little did I know it wasn't going to be G1 based, so I missed the whole thing. I watched some of the shows, and it was okay. And now, 20 years later, I appreciate it for what it is. I think Hasbro made the right decision to separate from G1 at this time. And now, today, we have more things we could go back on, more things they can pick from their catalog. So, it kind of worked out. We got Wonder Festival 2021 coming up this autumn. And I gotta say, the thing about this is that we get a lot of Transformer reveals in this. There's a lot of stuff set up for, well, whether it's Transformers, transforming robots, mechs, and all that kind of stuff. You find it there, and this is closer to the epicenter of what goes on with our franchise than here in the US. So, a lot of good stuff comes out of this all the time. Okay, Ramen Toy came out with an update this past week with the actual test shots, color test shots. Now, the previous ones were hand-painted, and these are the actual colors of the dye and the plastic, plus the paint, and without the wash. And I really do like the fact that the one on the left is the real product, the right is a digital render. I like the more vibrant colors in real life better, so I'm liking them better than when I pre-ordered them, when I bought 2 sets. So looking at this, they look great. I'm looking forward to them. And they're on track to still deliver in October. If it's not going to be October, then they're going to tell us. But this is Naval Commander looking at the same situation here with Armor Commander, which would be Jake. And I still like the more vibrant colors better. Now, some people might not like the more vibrant colors better, but it's really close. I mean, it's really close. Once you add the wash, which they are going to do, add the wash, it's going to look a lot closer to the original renders and the original design. But I like the colors, and I like it. Anything that sort of homages back to the originals, I love that. Now, this one does come with one less accessory than they originally started out, but they also said that they're going to make more suits if these are popular and they sell well. Here's the Air Force Commander and Ace, my favorite character. I don't know so much my favorite of their figures because they all look so great. It's just awesome. I'm really excited for these. Now, these are 6 inches. You can go to Ramen Toy and order yours right now if you want to, before they all sell out. But I think they look better. I think this looks better than the render. Left is what you're going to get versus the right of the render. So here is kind of a picture that they're going to be using. This whole color scheme and everything about this is what they're going to use for the box and the packaging. They will package them in the Power Extreme, sort of an X pose with the arms up and the legs out. And then all of the other accessories are going to be peppered in, and so that's kind of how they're going to do it now. I think they're still working out exact positioning and all that stuff. I've seen a couple of preliminary pictures, but I'm excited. It's going to look good in the box and out of the box. So I'm quickly going to run through some pictures from PowerCon that we got, and I have to say that I did not like the look of the Masters of the Universe Revelation Masterverse figures at first. And I think that they're growing on me a bit, but a couple designs, like the Evelyn, look great out of the gate. And the other one's a little odd. And they're hit and miss. And I still feel we're hit and miss. Here's Merman and Tila. But I think Tila looks great. I mean, I think that would replace your classics on the shelf, right? Here is some good stuff we got going on with now these are deluxe figures, and the thing about these figures that you can remove all of the stuff that's on them and make them very classic looking. So I really am excited about the classic look to these guys, and we're gonna jump to this picture to show the classic look. So Triclops here is a deluxe figure, and look at him. He looks very much like the original cartoon. Now, I'm hearing that the show had to be 20% different than the original for whatever reason and whatever clause that's in there. And if that's true, just adding extra junk that you could take off, and underneath he still looks a lot like the classic design, I'm fine with that. Especially since this dude is commanding crazy money from the classics version, and this is almost as good, in my mind, for 30 bucks. Jumping back to some more core figures. So we've got all these guys coming out, and looking to the right, Stinkor, and I think the Stinkor looks good. Another expensive classics figure. And then Tila's best friend, roommate, Tila's roommate. And then we've got the Scareglow. And I understand Scareglow is different than what Mattel put out with Maddie Collector Creations 2.0, 5.0, whatever. Anyway, whatever that crazy nonsense they got going on is. But this is going to be mainline release. Also Fisto, and Fisto's another expensive figure. What they're doing is they're taking the classics figures that are expensive and they're giving them to us in a slightly different deco, a little bit different, maybe even better, who knows, but for a good price. So we got this King Grayskull, and it's pretty cool. It's kind of an homage to back in the day. And did I watch the show? Yeah, I watched the show. Do I remember King? I don't remember this guy in it. He probably was. I was only halfway watching it, I guess, through most parts. So it was an okay show. It's okay. It was a fun romp, but I could do a review on it if you guys would like. If I review the show, I've got to watch it again. But anyway, this is the new Eternia in the Masters of the Universe, new Eternia. So there are some concepts that they're making here. It looks pretty cool. What I really want to focus in is that most people did not like the original He-Man and Skeletor head sculpts for the Masterverse. Now these head sculpts seem to be much more classic for these extra heads you see by their feet. So I'm looking forward to that. But this picture, I think, paints a picture and tells a story way beyond what we would expect. So you got the Revelations, and then when that's done, or maybe at the same time, we got New Eternia, we got Princess of Power, and we got, just says He-Man. No, I can't read what all the rest of it says. But what about if where it says He-Man, they actually reintroduce classics figures? If they do that, I mean, Mattel's my best friend. After that, I might not like Hasbro at all anymore. Mattel might be my best friend. Okay, getting into Star Wars. And I did say it was a whole lot of nada, and I'm going to try to start with the good and end with the nada. Anyway, so we've got Bib Fortuna in the Vintage Collection, and it looks like the Return of the Jedi card, and it looks pretty good, and it's part of the 96 that we're missing, the original 96 that we need, and we're already on 205 or something, but here we go. Bib Fortuna, IG-11, and I saw this coming, but here we go. We're going to IG-11, and I think that Mandalorian was one of the best things that happened to Star Wars, but they seem to be overly milking it to this date, or Wednesday, technically. They over milked it, but IG-11, pretty good figure. I like IG-88, so it works. Lando Calrissian. Now, I believe we already got this guy before, but not on this card back, so whatever. We'll take it. I might be wrong. I got to go check my collection of what they called Black Series for like 2 years at Walmart, but here it is, and it looks good. I like this version of Lando, and we need it, of course, on this card back. Lobot, same thing. Still with the anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, and Lobot's definitely needed for the 96, so a good choice. Looks good. And Tebow, Ewoks, it's an Ewok. Yeah, I guess we did need it. Did we? Did we really? Are we going to dial out all the Ewoks? See, this kind of brings forth some of the issues where we had some of those Ewoks that were Jedi, and then they got a coin, and they were on the Power of the Force. I'd love to see Power of the Force coins come back, but they can't be put out that 12 cents. That 12 cents per figure would break Hasbro. They'd go broke. They wouldn't be able to pay their people. Return of the Jedi, the Emperor, and I always thought I had the Emperor because I had Darth Sidious, so I was wrong. I don't have the Emperor, so I guess I got to get the Emperor, and here he goes. It looks pretty good, though, and they're making him with another set. They also have a 4-pack they're putting out for those of you that like to loose army build, and so it won't be in the package, and yeah. Army building stormtroopers is a thing that collectors like to do. You probably don't want to army build this guy, though, the prototype one. Now, The prototype Boba Fett came and went like in a flash, and I don't see anybody saying that they found it anytime recently. Like it was like 3 days out of the world that it existed, and I haven't seen it come back in stock. Heard anybody say it's back in stock. So I don't know if this is going to be a flash in the pan like it also. This does not attract the entire wide audience of collectors either. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Target exclusive. Here we go with the Power of the Force. Now I thought this was Power of the Jedi or something a little bit different, but anyway, they got on this card back here. So they're doing an homage card back instead of a vintage style card back. Frankly, I would have rather just had a vintage style card back than this. Yeah, it brings back good memories. I had a lot of fun hunting back then. So getting into some of the Star Wars Black Series stuff, and I guess we're getting back to the vintage collection here in a bit with some carbonized stuff, but I've got something to say. This is when it starts to get a little bit negative, start to go dark here. Grief Karga is shelf warming at my Walmart. Well, every Walmart I've been to. I mean, Target's sold out somehow, but every Walmart I've been to has a Grief Karga hanging there. And now we're going to get a credit collection. So you're going to be spending like an extra $5 to get a credit collection of a shelf warmer. These things will be ridiculously easy to get. Nobody's going to be buying them. I mean, a few people will want to finish their credit collection, but I think the first run of credit collection burned so many people that half of the people that would have been in on it are no longer in on it. Anyway, let's see. All these people got burned. Let's see. How can we burn them again? Oh, let's put shelf warmers in there. Let's repack these shelf warmers. I mean, did you just on this one? Did they just pop up with the old one and do a new color scheme? I don't know. Quill's not bad. What they're missing is this should have been a release of an actual Ugnaught and maybe swappable different colors of blue or a purple cloth goods. But anyway, they went with this. Quill's not a bad character, but he's been shelf warming. Also, Moff Gideon not shelf warming as much. I do like him as a villain. It's actually, he's really fun to watch. Very well portrayed as a villain and very dignified villain. So lots of fun right there. But yeah, it's another one. It's kind of getting the B-rated toys. Not so much characters, but toys getting reissued. Now the armor, people really like the armor, so I'm not shocked at all. Like this is one everybody seems to want, so not a surprise in the slightest. And then Mandalorian, so many people missed the Mandalorian the first go around. Let's just go ahead and let them miss this one the next go around. This will probably be the hard one to get. Staying with Black Series, we got the Gaming Greats, the GameStop, and the Jet Trooper. If you watch, or I guess play, Star Wars Battlefront 2, then you know exactly what this is. This is the Jump Trooper, the Jet Trooper. And it looks really good. It looks like you're actually playing the game, and he walked right out of the game. Works really great. Now, a lot of people customize their skins and all that stuff, so this would be, I guess, the default skin. That works. Now, we got another, like, $265 lightsaber, the FX Elite. I'm not gonna lie, these lightsabers pushing 300 are not enticing me at all. I'll just stick with my 15 lightsabers I got, but this is interesting. It's Rey. Rey is a polarized character, and her lightsaber is different. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, it feels like she just took her staff and turned it into a lightsaber. It's got the wraps on the wrist, on the handle there. You can see that. It's shown some weathering, and it has what a couple people has referred to as the opening sphincter that goes over the blade. So really interesting. You can see the light, emitting light in the lower part there too. So it's pretty cool for what it is, but for the price, maybe if I catch it on sale. Next up, we've got the Mudhorn version build-up pack of... this is interesting. So we've got Mandalorian covered in dirt, and we've got baby Grogu here with his eyes closed, and it actually calls him Grogu, and you've got the Mudhorn egg so that the Jawa can drink it. Or did I spoil something there? You've got an original first pram and all that, so yeah, it's great, but isn't this, according to my math, the 8th version of Black Series Mandalorian? Alright, so they've talked about the Incinerator Trooper, and it's the carbonized graphite. I gotta tell you, this thing doesn't look very carbonized to me, but I'm hearing some people on both sides of this. The carbonized card backs are way thicker, more solid, less chance of them being beaten up, but the figures themselves, the little bit of slight glaze of carbonized that they get over them flakes off real easy if you open it. So there's a kind of a double-edged sword there, but it's kind of cool way to get figures again. Moff Gideon here, no surprise, carbonized. He looks pretty good villain. Also, Shore Trooper looking pretty good himself too, if you're into that kind of thing. And then the Armorer, no surprise there. And I'm guessing that since these figures came out quite a while ago, that maybe people missed out on them. Now they want them with the carbonized. But what shows is people always want the original more than whatever came second. So even if you're paying more at retail, they don't want them as bad. So what do you think about this week's weekly news in review? What else is going on out there that I missed? What do you guys like? What are you guys seeing? What do you think about Transformers, or the Motu, or the 80s Commander from Ramen Toys, or I guess Star Wars is still a thing for now? Like and subscribe. Tiberium Hanger out.